So here's some good news about, now that we saw Donald Trump, here's some interesting news about Donald Trump. Now that we saw him personally. Donald Trump's actual Trump organization, which is closely tied to him as a person who he didn't even divest in or put in a blind trust throughout the duration of his presidency, is now facing charges on tax evasion. For
Trump.
Facing charges of tax evasion for perks that they offered some of the higher level executives there that were not taxed appropriately. Here, let's take a look at what's going on.
That bombshell development in the investigation into former President Trump and his company. The first charges stemming from that probe filed overnight, and our chief Washington correspondent, John Carl, has been tracking all the latest. John, good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning, Michael. ABC News has learned that a grand jury has filed sealed criminal indictments against the Trump Organization and its chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg. And Mr. Weisselberg has already turned himself in this morning to authorities in New York. This morning, after a 2-year investigation into Donald Trump's business dealings, the first criminal charges against his company have been filed and are now just hours away from being revealed in court. Sources briefed on the investigation tell ABC News the charges against the Trump Organization and its longtime chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg, include tax fraud. Weisselberger has worked for the company since the 1970s. In one of his old books, Trump said of Weisselberg, quote, "He did whatever was necessary to protect the bottom line."
Replacing George this week is my chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg. And you think George is tough? Wait till you see Alan.
Sources briefed on the investigation say the company and Weisselberg are accused of avoiding taxes on fringe benefits, including cars, school tuition, and rent-free apartments. The charges come after the Manhattan district attorney.
I think one of the best parts about Trump's situation is that oftentimes when you have fall guys that are executives in higher positions of power in your organization, you can at least pay them to shut the fuck up and make sure that their family is situated. But in Trump's case, I don't think he has enough capital to be able to get someone like this to not turn on him, to stop him from turning on Trump and just being like, yeah, I had to do everything that he told me to do. So who knows? Who knows what'll happen there? I already ran the ad, chat. Thank you, Real23 Phil, for the 15 gift subs, by the way. Thank you.
Obtained Trump's tax returns and other financial records in a battle that went all the way to the Supreme Court. Trump has long insisted he runs a clean company and that the investigation is politically motivated.
The continuation of the greatest and most disgusting witch hunt of all time.
Weisselberg is the most important person in the Trump Organization who is not a member of the Trump family. The big question now, Michael, is whether prosecutors can get him to testify against Donald Trump. Although Mr. Trump is not charged today, not expected to be charged today, this may be only the beginning of the charges in this case.
I'm sure everybody will see how this is going to play out. John, thank you so much for that.
This outro is so loud. Tucker Carlson cried about the NSA spying on him, but I don't really care about it. I'm not interested in that at all.